Hi everybody, I'm Jamie. You might not have known that I used to be a stand-up comedian. The reason you probably didn't know is because I'm not funny. How many of you all know the stand-up comedy paradox? My favorite comedian of all time was Albert Camus. You should check out his Dry Bar special, The Myth of Sisyphus. It's hilarious, or it's not. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm here today to talk to you about the comedy paradox. What's the comedy paradox? Somebody who is funny can't be happy, and somebody who's happy can't be funny. Which am I? We'll find out at the end of the video. When I was younger, I was kind of nerdy. Not popular in high school, I wanted a girlfriend. I can't play music and I'm not an athlete, so I thought about the only art field that I could get into, that's stand-up comedy. All you need is paper. Have you ever been to an open mic? It's clear a lot of comics don't even use that. I did comedy for a number of years and I found myself in this weird repeating cycle. I would start doing comedy, practice, and get pretty good. The problem is, I had to be a certain amount of funny to have success like this. But with that success came after show attention from women, which is what I wanted, even though I was terribly afraid of it. Flash forward. Almost all the women I've dated over the last number of years have been women that have met me at comedy shows, and somehow I guess thought, oh, that guy, he seems like he would be a lot of fun to be around because he's funny. Little did they know that what made me good on stage was being honest and vulnerable. My whole act was about, I'm not very good at talking to women.
He said, I'm not good at talking to women. Now, I can't talk to women. I take things way too literally.
I realized why I have a hard time talking to people. Like, I'm so analytical, I take people too literally. I don't even know when I'm on a date sometimes. I've been out to eat with a girl, didn't realize she thought it was a date, and she was kicking my leg under the table all night, like accidentally brushing my hand. In retrospect, I realized she's flirting now, but at the moment, all I could think was, I never realized what poor depth perception you had. Here's the worst part. We went to get ice cream, and she comes out, she's like, I just always had this fantasy one day somebody would cover my body in whipped cream and lick it off. And I looked at her, I promise, right in the eyes, and I go, well, you are a pretty girl. I'm sure somebody will do that one day.
So every time I would get into a relationship, eventually, everything would start off fun at first because we'd go to shows, and it seemed like I was a fun person to be around. When you say something and I'm going to interpret it in the most bland and forward way you could take it, that can be frustrating. And I understand. I don't think any of these women were wrong for getting fed up with me. I'm not even sure what they were doing with me in the first place. I was saying on stage every night exactly what every one of my personal flaws was. The longer I was in a relationship, the happier I would get. I would start getting less and less bookings just because I was finding myself not as funny. Why? Because I didn't have that same motivation to try to meet people after shows. So eventually would lead to a breakup because I am not capable of talking to other people like real people. I still am a person with feelings, and I would get very hurt and sad. I would get pretty lonely. What would I do to deal with that loneliness? I would focus all my free time on developing new comedy bits. Gradually, that would lead my comedy act to get better. Can you see where the problem arises? Anyway, this cycle continued to repeat itself several times. How do you get out of this cycle? Well, there's only one way, even though there are many different methods. That's the stand-up comedy paradox. If you didn't think this video was funny at all, I take that as a great compliment, because that means that I'm doing great. But if you did find yourself chuckling at this video at any point, or finding it humorous in any way, please invite me to go do karaoke.